Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another review for One Piece chapter 1032, and that's a hell of a cliffhanger to end the chapter off. It looks like Hiyori has actually showed herself to Orochi. I'm gonna be very curious to see where Oda kind of takes that one next, because I did not see that one coming. Now, I will say the other thing out of this chapter that really stood out is obviously we gotta address the huge elephant in the room that's going on with Zoro, which is essentially Zoro and the Emma sword. It looks like there's something going on here because Zoro's arm has completely shrank down. It looks like the sword has finally shown us exactly why it's a cursed sword. Now, the chapter opens up with the battle with Big Mom continuing to rage on, and as that fight is taking place, you have the samurai blocking the exit, and you have Yamato running along. You got Drake and Apoo. They look like they're about to continue fighting, and that's when the announcement ends up getting said, and the announcement is that specter, that giant monster that's on fire, is going to be making its way towards the basement. And as this is taking place, the members of CP0 have sprung into action. It looks like they're going after Nico Robin. At this point, I'm very worried about Robin. I don't know if she's gonna make it out of Wano without being captured. That's the thing right there. Like, this does not look good for Nico Robin at all. And just before they can actually get into the fight itself, they look like they catch on fire, and you have all these flames that are continuing to spread where they're at. And Yamato's looking, and Yamato makes a connection like, wait a second, if that giant fire specter continues going further and further down, it's going to make its way to the basement. And if that happens, everybody's going to get blown up. So Yamato tucks tail and starts running her ass off. And you have Nico Robin and Brook basically come to a conclusion like, okay, CP0's on the other side of those flames. We need to get the fuck out of here now. I like that because Nico Robin realizes the amount of danger that she's in. You're seeing those survival instincts of Nico Robin really kind of come into play here, because the girl's been on the run her entire life. She knows, like, I can't afford to get caught here. Like, she got over on one with Black Maria, but this is a whole nother monster right here. And so she actually ends up getting helped out because Apoo is like, oh man, you know, we got the Celestial Dragons lapdogs here. Morgan is going to pay a lot of money here if I can get a picture of this. But before he can do anything, the guy from CP0 just knocks him out, and Drake gets called out. He's like, look, you're an inconvenient truth. You got to go as well. It looks like Drake takes a huge shot to the face. And that's when we get the revelation, like, okay, like, hey, we can use armament hockey. And that's when we get the revelation that, like, okay, like, Drake is cool. But on the other side of this, though, you got Apoo and Drake basically saying it's time for them to try and take on the members of CP0. So this fight is taking place here. However, the main fight that takes place in this chapter is it bounces back over to Zoro versus King. And you got King flying around, and he's got Zoro on the ropes right here because Zoro is having to dodge those different projectiles. Zoro is having to try and find a way to attack King, and it's the worst possible matchup for him because Zoro's somebody who likes to fight up close and personal. He's got some attacks that he can use that can allow him to fight somebody from long range, but that's not necessarily his specialty. And Zoro understands that as the fight's dragging on, he's just going to run himself dry with stamina. And so Zoro gets the brilliant idea of trying to use the Black Rope Dragon Twister, and he's hoping that those slashes will be enough to actually bring King down to the ground. However, King is using his wings in order to block the slashes. And so as Zoro begins to get King down on the ground and King willingly enters into a sword fight with him, Zoro realizes, okay, something's got to give here. And it can't be my body that gives out first, but I got to figure out, is this guy a fishman? Is he a giant? Is he some other race? If I can't figure out what he is behind that mask, I'm in for a lot of trouble here. And you actually see Zoro pressured to the point where Zoro is now face down, where Zoro's now on the ground, face up, looking at the sky. And the sword begins to start smoking and start making sounds. And it's the Enma sword. And Zoro begins to start screaming. So this is going to be interesting just to see right here what happens next. I think that Oda's definitely setting up that sword to kind of be the jack of all trades, that Uno card that's going to be used to flip the switch on King in that battle. However, while all this is going on, Orochi starts hearing music. And when Orochi starts moving on his hands and knees, he sees Komurasaki, i.e. Hiyori, and Orochi's like, oh my God, I can't believe I've seen you. Have I died and just gone to heaven? Is this a dream? He's gone into super simp mode at this point, and Hiyori's just laying it on thick for him right now. Hiyori's like, I can't ever forget you. I'm always going to be by your side. I haven't spent a night without dreaming about you. You can tell she's laying it on thick because it looks like Orochi, as many times as he's escaped death, Hiyori's got something planned. And that's what's going to be interesting right here is how Hiyori is used to try and take down Orochi. That's going to be the one thing right there. It will be very poetic if Orochi was taken out by Hiyori, or Hiyori played a key role in Orochi being taken out just because of the history that these two characters have. Now, the thing about Zoro and why this is so interesting is that Zoro finally got the fight that he wants, but the big thing is that lack of intel, and now what's going on with the Enma sword. Zoro is not in a very favorable situation, and it makes you wonder, is Zoro's body going to give out before he can figure out King? And I actually have a chapter question for you guys, because I always assumed that King was just a giant, because I don't know the official heights or anything, because I've moved to the point now to where I'm having to read the chapters on Viz Media's website because there are no more physical volumes in English as of this recording for me to be able to look at. So I don't know if King is the same height as Big Mom. I always assumed that they were somewhat similar in height, and so that's going to be my question. Do you guys think that King is actually a giant? Do you think he's a fish man? And between King and Big Mom, am I maybe just seeing things wrong? Is Big Mom just that much bigger than King? Not the current Big Mom we got now, who's in super big bitch mode. I'm talking about like the Big Mom we saw on Whole Cake Island. Is that Big Mom bigger than King? Let me know down in the comment section below. So always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.